Good evening, Gary Mitchell. Tonight on Sweet and Sour, will you ever see your grandchildren born? Don't you wish your kids would hurry up and pop one out? Who makes the show a hit, cast or crew? And finally, teen sex. Are you high-fiving your son while shaming your daughter? All these issues and more with the professional panel in 30 seconds.
Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our motley crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, cause baby, it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Pour some sugar on there, baby.
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
How's about some chili?
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
Woohoo! Hey, welcome to Sweet and Sour. Lovely to have your company. Gary Mitchell with you for the next half hour. Who's on the show tonight? You always want to know first up. We're going to tell you straight away. Welcome back, Steve. How are you, mate?
I'm great, thank you.
Now, still a man of leisure?
I am very much a man of leisure, but I'm.
You haven't gone back to work?
No, I'm trying to actually learn wisdom in my later years, and I'm actually
Why?
That's no fun, mate.
I do have some work coming up in November. We'll be doing some work on the speaker circuit, but that's different.
Oh.
Anyway, but I'm enjoying life.
Your title at the bottom will be professional speaker when you come on next time.
Well, I don't want to give anybody any false impressions.
Been to any restaurants lately that you might care to share with us?
I
know how much you love eating
my
out.
food. Well, I went to the grand final last week in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And apart from 100,000 people around the place that were cheering for Collingwood, I was very happy that Geelong won. But the highlight of being in Melbourne is actually my nephew's restaurant.
Called?
Attica. A degustation menu that's quite wonderful.
I've heard of it.
Well, it's Restaurant of the Year in Melbourne.
That's why I've heard of it.
And?
Where is it?
Glen Ira Road in Ripponlea.
Ripponlea, near the ABC. Is the ABC still in Ripponlea? Thereabouts?
I don't think
Elstonwick.
so. I don't think so.
No, it moved, didn't
Close by, but I think it's moved.
Okay, terrific. Attica in Ripponlea. Fantastic. Angie.
Hello.
When was the last time you were in Adelaide or Melbourne or?
Melbourne, beginning of the year, Adelaide, 8 weeks ago.
You're a regular visitor to Adelaide.
I am. It's my hometown.
Ah, no wonder.
Yes.
And do you like going back?
I love going back.
Country people are so nice. It's amazing. Yes. Well, welcome to the show. Dr. Angie, welcome to the show.
Gary, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me here.
That's all right. Terrific. You're going to add an enormous amount of credibility to our panel.
Is that right? Well, that's lovely.
High expectations. Have you had a look at the letters?
I certainly have. They're very interesting. There'll be much to say.
Yes, interesting. Another word for crap, I suppose. All right, well, Glenn, welcome, mate.
Good to see you again,
Long
Mitch.
time no see.
Long time no see. I've just come back from Brisbane.
How come?
The National Theatre Sports Championships.
How'd you go?
Well, we didn't win. Let's put it that way. But we were brilliant and the judges ripped us off.
Everybody
That's
says
right.
that.
Making things up on the spot, that's what I do, Gary.
Tell me, how's your corporate stuff going?
Well, you know, I'm a spontaneity coach. I help people to be more spontaneous in their lives and to get the most out of their lives and their workplace as well.
And their workplace. I wonder what you can do for me.
I can help you,
We'll have
Gary.
a private chat afterwards.
Yeah, sure.
All right, here we go. Letter 1. Welcome, everybody. Hello, Mitch. I had all of my 3 kids between the ages of 22 and 33. They were all spaced years apart and they're each independent and strong characters. The eldest is now 39. We are terrific company together as I'm a very young 61-year-old and have enjoyed my kids and expect to do so for decades to come. My daughter at 39 is now doing a very selfish thing in planning to have children with her partner of 10 years. Honestly, they've had 10 years to have kids, yet now that they are almost geriatrics, they want to raise a family. Yes, it's completely selfish to inflict themselves on children who will spend their youth with old and ageing parents. Think about it. They will be in their 50s before any of the children they may have are out of primary school. How do you play sport with kids when you're already dealing with arthritis, at least? On top of everything else, the kids will be orphaned when they're only young adults. And having kids is no picnic. You have to be young to cope. Excuse the pun, but it's totally ill-conceived. What can I do to make my daughter and her partner see reason? Heaven knows they will be spending a fortune in IVF treatment to get pregnant anyway. While I'm sad that what I'm saying will rob them of the joy of children, they have left it too late. Marilyn of Preston in Victoria. She doesn't want to be a grandmother, Angie.
Well, Marilyn, good luck to you that you had your children early on in your years. But who do you think you are telling your daughter that she can't have kids at the age of 39?
Or anybody else.
Or anybody else, because that is just the norm these days. And how do you know it's going to be IVF? And how do you know she's going to have all these problems? I think you are the selfish one, because you know and probably feel that you will be losing her company. That's what I think is happening here.
Why would a potential grandmother actually say that?
Well, she doesn't say that she doesn't have any other grandchildren.
This is true.
From her other kids. So I think she's just selfish at the fact
She
that
doesn't want
her daughter to
babysit.
have them, because obviously she says they're terrific company. So her daughter will be committed to having a child or some children, and so she feels she's going to be losing that contact with her daughter.
Steve, does she have any validity? Is there an age limit for kids? Because in Italy, they specialise in making sure that people in their 60s are having kids now.
Well, actually, if we look at Marilyn's letter, I think that she's actually resentful that her daughter is doing what she didn't do. She married very young, missed out on a lot of those good years in her early life, and dedicated them to their children, which is a wonderful thing. But she didn't have the fun that her daughter might have had. And what she should really be aware of, though, is that when she talks about 39 as being too old to have kids and having arthritis at 50, that's rubbish. Because the life expectancy today is 82 for a woman and 80 for a man. 100 years ago, life expectancy was about 55. So we're now living roughly 25 years longer than we used to be. So the new 40 is 60. And at 61, you know, being a grandmother, well, I don't mind telling people I'm 63 and my younger daughter is having a child next year. And I'm very happy to be a grandparent at 63.
How old's your daughter?
33.
33.
Yep. And I still go out and I'll play football with the kids and I'll play with them. At 61, at 63, I'm still sprightly.
So, how old is too old to have kids? Is there an answer?
To have kids? It depends. It's a very, very personal decision, but certainly not at those ages.
All right, Glenn.
But I totally disagree with Steve. I think he's talking a lot of rubbish, personally. My parents were 19 and 21 when I was born, and I had the coolest parents in school. And I remember going to school with other kids, and you'd kind of rock up over to their house, and you'd be introduced. You go, "Oh, it's nice to meet your grandfather." "Oh no, that's my dad." And you'd kind of, you know, go for a bit of rough and tumble. "You want to kick the football?" "Oh no, my hip." "No, my knee." "No, my ankle." And I totally agree. I think you should. What you should do is just any time that you think they're going to have sex, just knock on the door, and just try and get involved, and you know, get in there as much as you can, and stop them having kids, because they're doing a disservice to humanity.
Oh, Doc, give us the good oil.
Oh, well, let's have a point of view that actually agrees with another Angela on the panel, and that is, I believe, Marilyn, that you are a very selfish human being. Marilyn, you are just imposing your values and viewpoints on your daughter, whom you want to be your best friend until you depart this earth. How selfish is that? And, you know, a little bit dangerous. I mean, how long are you going to have your own children hanging off your apron strings for the rest of your life? Look, I mean, what would you rather? A daughter that is psychologically damaged or one that is pushing a walking frame and having her children on either side, taking them down to the primary school? Seriously?
How many daughters?
I've got 3.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How long do you want them around your apron string?
Well, you know, they've pretty much all flown, if you like, you know.
Age?
And
Ages?
Ages 27, 25 and 21.
Marilyn still wants her daughter hanging around
Well,
at
you know,
39.
I mean, what's the point? And, you know, seriously, I don't think your grandchildren need to worry. They'll have sprightly you at 75 plus, whatever, you know, out there playing sports with them. So I don't think it's an issue. And shame on you for calling 50 plus, 50 and over geriatrics.
Yeah.
Do I look like a geriatric, Marilyn? Early 50s, but hey,
We'll counsel
seriously.
the doc after the commercial. When we come back, we're going to be talking about Charlie Sheen, 2.5 Men, and the new rejig of the show with Ashton Kutcher. Don't go away. More of Sweet and Sour coming up. Very good. Sour. If you'd like to send us a letter, send it to the address that's appearing on your screen right now, which is the letters at sweetandsour.net.au, and every letter that lands here, our letters editor will tell us whether it's good enough to get onto the panel. For every letter that does make it to the panel, we're going to send you to the movies, courtesy of our very pregnant, very lovely and very happy Natalie Cameron and NRC Communications. There it is. There's the movie we're sending you to this week, which is Midnight in Paris, starring Owen Wilson and a few others. It's a goodie, from what I understand. And letter to hello panel. I love Charlie Sheen. He's made me laugh on 2.5 Men for years. He's fun on and off the big and small screen. I've seen the new 2.5 Men with Ashton Kutcher, and I'm delighted that it's crap without Charlie. It can't last long. How dare these TV producer tycoons think that they are bigger than the stars? How dare they treat viewers with contempt and think that we will blindly follow and watch the new series of the show when the star is missing? Would we have watched Seinfeld without Jerry Seinfeld? Would we have watched Gilligan's Island without Bob Denver? And why is it that you and I, the viewing public, have lost power to these petty, dictatorial, money-hungry producers? Is it that we've become less demanding of our TV programming and more accepting of any crap that the rich producers want to push onto the screen to make them the most money? Just have a look at TV viewing in general. Haven't you guys noticed that practically 50% of programming is comprised of cheap, formula-structured cop investigation shows? Come on, it's time to turn off 2.5 Men. Stan, Henley Beach in Adelaide. Glenn!
Stan, it was never time to turn on 2.5 Men. Let's face it, it's aptly titled for someone like you because 2.5 Men is watched by people with 2.5 brain cells. So Stan, look, forget about Charlie Sheen. I mean, you're the one who's actually watching the rubbish to begin with. You're talking about shows being pushed down people's throats. Well, Charlie Sheen was pushing tiger penis down his own throat. I mean, really, let's be honest. He was caught with a suitcase of cocaine, and you think that's a wonderful thing? I think you need to get a life, Stan, and watch something that's, you know, a little more intelligent. Try a documentary on the ABC. I'll spell documentary for you if you like. DOCUMENTARY. Google it. You might enjoy it.
Doc, did you ever watch 2.5 Men?
Absolutely.
Did you like it?
Very much, very much.
I'm a devotee. I've only seen the episode where they introduced Ashton Kutcher, and I loved it. Did you like it?
I loved that episode, but first episode I ever saw was on a plane, and I was
Got
hooked
hooked?
thereafter.
My mother got me interested. I walked in to see her, and there she was laughing in front of the TV, and she said to me, not now, I'm watching this.
But you know, it is. But you know what I think, Stan from Henley Beach, Adelaide, what your problem is, Stan? I think it's not so much that you miss Charlie Sheen. I think that you are just plain green with envy at the newcomer, Ashton Kutcher, at Demi Moore's better half, although I think she's lost him to megastardom, what the tabloids are saying. But really, Stan, I think you need to admit it. You needed to admit it to yourself, to this panel and to the world that you cannot stand to see the gorgeous Ashton Kutcher on this show. And let me address this other issue that you raise about formulaic television shows. Did we stop and would we stop watching if the lead or some actor was replaced? I mean, if we take Bewitched, Gary, Bewitched, one Darren leaves, one Dick leaves, and another comes in, Dick York, Dick Sargent.
Yep, that's it.
Did that change our viewing habits?
Dicks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
It all comes back to tiger penis, doesn't it?
You know, look, for the obvious reason that they were both dicks, but ultimately, formula gets us in. We're engaged because do we want to think when we're watching television, Stan? No, we want to switch off.
We want to think.
If you want to think,
Unbelievable.
you watch Lateline.
All right.
You don't watch 2.5 Men, for example. Okay. So, Stan, look, give me Ashton Kutcher anytime. I'm
with the doc.
2.5 Men might be a flop, but he's not floppy, I can tell you.
Andy?
Yeah.
Well, look, I'm pretty sad that Charlie's gone.
You liked him too?
I really love
too, but
I
I
like
think
Charlie
the show
on and off
stands
the
alone.
screen. I wish I was maybe one of his tiger penises that were going in his mouth, Glenn.
Oh!
Possibly.
Say that on...
I don't know if I'm going to like it with Ashton Kutcher. I like Ashton, but Charlie was the star of that show for me.
I haven't got past your last comment. Steve,
Look, I don't think I've heard anyone as wise as Glenn is tonight. He's absolutely brilliant. What he says, you know, took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say 2.5 men, 2.5 brains, with Charlie having the half a brain, to be quite honest. Cocaine, beating wives and so forth.
What does that mean about us?
What is Stan talking about? You know, that he's actually saying that he watched Gilligan's Island for Bob Denver. It was all about Marianne.
Ginger.
That's what it was. Ginger. That's what it was worth watching.
Steve, I'm never disagreeing with you again.
Exactly, you know, it was wonderful. And look, a very good friend of mine who is a producer of a significant television program, talked to him once, I was talking to him about the crap that we get on television, he said to me, and I talked about the news, for instance. I said, you get crap on the news. He says, look, we have the best news service in Australia. Am I allowed to say that it's SBS News? He said, it's wonderful news, but nobody watches it because the channels, the commercial channels, give us what we want.
Exactly.
And that's exactly the case here. They're giving you what we want, which
They wouldn't be making any money if they wouldn't be giving you what you want.
Exactly.
Simple as
They
that.
study very clearly what we want.
Stan, I love 2.5 Men. When we come back, we're going to be talking about how old is too young to have sex. Don't go away. More of Sweet and Sour when we come back. See you then.
Tonight we are on the lookout for a rare breed of person, someone who loves planking and watching Sweet and Sour. We've got the set for you to come here and do just that, for all the plankers out there.
Welcome back to Sweet and Sour. Dear Sweet and Sour, I'm in shock. My 15-year-old daughter is having sex. It's far too young, but I can't change anything. It's done. My husband is beside himself. Here is our 15-year-old daughter telling us quite openly that she is in a committed and loving relationship. How could she possibly be at 15? In trying to come to terms with my baby daughter entering womanhood at such an early age, I can't work out why it is that I feel so bad. Why is it that my husband and I feel so distraught for our daughter when her older brother came home 5 years ago at the same age of 15 and bragged about having sex, and we both quietly celebrated his passage into manhood? Why is my daughter going to be considered a slut, but my son considered a hero? Roz of Kingsford in New South Wales. Steve, why do we have such a disparity between boys and girls, men and women?
Attitudes are so different when you look at boys and girls, and so much of it goes back to history. And when we look at how women were treated, we've come a long way in how we treat women, but in the past, women were treated as chattels. And I guess it goes back to that a lot. I know that we've got an expert here on Romeo and Juliet, so I'm not going to talk about Juliet, but if you think of one of the great love stories, that is it, Romeo and Juliet. Now, you'll hear a little bit later about Romeo and Juliet and how old she was, but
preempting what
the
he's
thing,
gonna say.
I know what he's going to
Don't say it
say.
now, Glenn.
I know what we're going to say, because he's an expert. Anyway, what I want to say, the difficult thing as a parent is when you have children and you see them as infants, you see them as as toddlers, and they grow, you see this purity and this innocence. And it's a sadness when you lose that innocence. And what you do as a parent, you don't want that to come too early. You would like to feel that your child, whether it be a boy or a girl, enters into that transition into manhood or womanhood in a loving way, and that it's not tainted. And I think that's the sad part as a parent that you're feeling. But it's something that you have to deal with, and you need to talk to your daughter about.
Angie, can she enter, a 15-year-old enter that period at that age?
Look, I don't know if it's about age, but I do think it's probably about some kind of maturity as well. But, you know, that's true. You brand your son as a hero. But remember, he slept with someone's daughter too. That was probably that age. So it's probably come back to bite you on the bum. But I do agree with Steve. I think you need to be seeing what kind of precautions your daughter is taking, contraception, because obviously she's doing it now, and whether it's with her loving partner or it's probably not going to be her last time either. So
she's probably all starry-eyed, which makes her consider herself in a loving and committed relationship, but it
yes,
ain't necessarily so.
No.
All right, Doc, what's going on here?
Gary, Roz from Kingsford, New South Wales has really struck a raw nerve here, apart from the fact that it's that whole sexism and traditionalist aspect that's coming through your letter, Roz. There's a level of hypocrisy here, but I'll talk about that in a second. Is your daughter going to be branded a slut? Yeah, no doubt. For the rest of her life. And your son will be held up as some sort of hero. But Roz, in the end, whose fault is all of this? Let's have a closer look. Let's take a close look at your terminology. Your daughter is in a loving and committed relationship, and she has come out openly and told you this, but you're distraught, whereas your son bragged about sex and you quietly celebrated. Can we see the sexism coming through here, guys, and the traditionalism? It's heavy duty. So it's their baggage indeed. So look, Roz, I need to advise you here. I think you need to do some heavy reversal psychology. You need to get that son of yours and brand him instead, and raise your daughter to some sort of level and help her mend her ego, because she's done the right thing. She's been honest and upfront and is in a loving relationship. There's a difference.
Okay, Glenn, last word on this one. How old was Romeo? How old was Juliet?
Well, Romeo was 16, Juliet wasn't yet 14. Ooh. And I think the thing is exactly the same. It's a loving relationship. She was in a loving relationship. This girl is saying she's in a loving relationship. I don't think that it's just the kids of today who are having sex at 15. I think there were plenty of girls that had sex at 15 many, many years ago. Think of how many girls ended up in homes. You know, think of how many babies were secretly had, and they said, "Oh, this is your younger sister," when really it was...
mums.
So look, this isn't anything new. She will only be branded as a slut if you brand her as a slut. You're her parents. Love her regardless. She's trying to do the right thing. She's actually telling you and being honest with you. Would you rather she was having sex without you knowing it? I think you've got an amazing daughter there, and I think you need to wake up and realise that.
Which letter do you like, Glenn, to give away the pair of limited edition Aussie optical spectacles courtesy of Alan Tree?
Well, look, I think Roz is already in the dark. I'm not sure sunglasses are going to help, but hopefully they might help her see a little bit better.
Angie, which letter do you like?
Definitely letter number 3 is
letter
what me going.
number 3?
Definitely Roz.
Steve?
Yeah, look, I agree with letter 3 too, and I think...
Didn't you want to argue with Glenn?
No. I think what Glenn said was absolutely spot on.
Steve, I'm going to buy you a drink.
No, look, I disagree with you on your alcoholism. I've seen you, in very bad in that way, Glenn.
Coming out to Roz of Kingsford in New South Wales, a pair of limited edition sunnies courtesy of Aussie Opticals. We've got to go. Good to have you, Mr. Mack.
Thank you very much, Gary. Good
See you on the golf course tomorrow morning at what time?
I am at 9:04.
9:04, very late for you.
No. Tomorrow's Wednesday. No, tomorrow's Tuesday. I'm on Wednesday.
Righto. I'm glad we got that organised. Are you on the golf course tomorrow?
No.
Are you in Adelaide tomorrow?
No, I'm here in Perth.
All right. Well, we'll
She's
see you
in
back on the
between
show fairly
courses.
soon.
Yes.
She's working on intercourse.
Did you enjoy your first show, Angie?
Very much, Gary. Thank you very
Will
much.
you come back?
I'd love to.
All right, we'd love to have you back too. Glenn!
Mate, spontaneous-insanity.com.au. That's where you can find out how to make up things.
Fantastic.
Come and join me, guys.
Mate. All right. Thank our terrific panel. Thank our wonderful crew. And thanks for having us at home tonight, Australia. Good night. Bye-bye.